What if I told you the ceasefire that was supposed to stop one of the most dangerous conflicts in recent time is already falling apart? Just days after United States and Iran agreed to pause the war, we are now seeing ship seizures, rising oil tensions, and threats of retaliation. So what actually happened? Who broke the deal first? And most importantly, are we heading back into full-scale war? Let's break it down. If you want updates on this situation, subscribe because this war is far from over. You might be thinking, why should I care? Here's why. Oil prices could spike globally, shipping routes could shut down, and global markets could become unstable. Even if you are far away from the conflict, you will feel the impact. This is one of those situations where a regional conflict can quickly become a global crisis, which it's already become. A lot of countries are already trying to ration their resources. So where does it go next? Will both sides return to negotiation, or are we watching the start to another global war, major war? Right now, no one knows. But one thing is clear: the ceasefire that was supposed to stop the war is hanging by a thread, and the world is watching what happens next. If you want updates on this situation as it unfolds, because this story is far from over. Earlier this month, the United States and Iran agreed to a temporary ceasefire. After weeks of intense fighting, this deal, mediated by Pakistan, was meant to last for just 2 weeks. The key conditions were simple. The US and its allies would stop attack on Iran. Iran would reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and both sides would begin peace talks. Trump was boasting all over social media how he stopped the war. He claimed that the US had totally destroyed Iran, including their missile program, Navy, Air Force. But after few days, the ceasefire started to show cracks. To provoke the IRCC, Israel decided to attack Lebanon, claiming Lebanon wasn't part of the peace deal. On the other hand, Iranian officials argued that Lebanon was an important part of the ceasefire. Even high-ranking Pakistani officials who were mediating the peace deal claimed that Lebanon was a part of the peace deal. The attack on Lebanon made the Iranians really furious, but all parties involved were able to calm things down and brought both Iranians and Americans back to the table to negotiate a permanent end to the war. Things were looking positive for the first few days. The Iranians even decided to open the Strait of Hormuz on a small scale. It was great news for the world because the Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important oil routes in the world. Any disruption there can shake the entire global economy. For a moment it looked like things were coming down, but that peace it didn't last. Both parties disagreed on the terms of ceasefire. Iran wanted sanction relief and guarantees. The US pushed for stricter demands, including limiting Iran's military capabilities. Then came the turning point. The United States seized an Iranian cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz. According to reports, US forces boarded and captured the vessel, claiming it violated ceasefire agreements. Iran declared the seizure as an act of piracy, saying it has no plans to participate in talks with the US. Iran has threatened to retaliate against American ships which are trying to blockade Iranian ships trying to transit the Strait of Hormuz. Right now the situation is extremely unstable. Iran is reconsidering even boycotting the peace talks. The ceasefire is about to expire. The ceasefire was supposed to come to an end on Wednesday. Iran and America, both parties, were planning to hold talks on Monday to extend the deadline of the ceasefire. But after the recent escalation, it is hard to tell if the talks would continue or not. Iranian state media has reported that they have no plans to attend the peace talks due to the continuation of America's naval blockade and calls it a violation of the ceasefire. Iran has reblocked the Strait of Hormuz. They have reportedly even attacked some cargo ships trying to exit the Strait of Hormuz. Shipping in the Strait of Hormuz is being disrupted again. That's huge because this isn't a regional issue anymore. It affects oil prices, global trade, and even everyday costs worldwide. And here's the scary part. Neither side is backing down. The US says it's enforcing security. Iran says it's defending itself. And history shows when both sides think they're right, conflict escalates. So the big question, is the war back on? Technically the ceasefire hasn't fully expired yet, but in reality it's already breaking down. Some analysts are warning that the situation might escalate, spiral out of control, especially if Iran retaliates or the US increases military pressure. And remember, this isn't about two countries anymore. It's turned into a global crisis. The world is suffering because of Trump's petty war.